Hello and welcome everybody to the Spincast episode number. Enter it there.
4.
I don't remember it. 4? No.
Season 2, episode 4.
Season 2, episode 4. All right, thanks, Lee. He's the archivist. I'm Brian Kellison with Brian White and Lisa Vries, respectively. Let's just get into it. How was the? Let's do a quick little. Hey, how was your week? Go ahead, Brian.
Pretty good overall, except for today. My computer kept crashing, and it's really frustrating when you just want to do an hour and a half of Zone 2 and every 15 minutes. But outside of that,
I have a quick question. When you were double dipping and your computer was crashing, did you lose both rides or just one?
Actually, Indie Velo had every single, I started out streaming Indie Velo, blah, 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 everything. Then Indie Velo kept track of it right up to the minute it crashed. Zwift doesn't. So then I came back, crashed again, and then I just went solely Zwift, and it kept happening. So it's something with Zwift, because before and after that, or I should say before that, I was on the computer for about 3 hours, no issues. So I narrowed it down.
So you didn't capture the entirety of your ride because you weren't running a secondary recording device like a computer, which is everyone like all the validation verification says to run a computer and a power meter or something like that.
Extra stuff, man. It just
that's what that's the hoops we got to jump through. All right,
yeah,
go Lee. Let's get in, and I'll tell you how mine was.
It was pretty darn good. I got a ton of riding in. Cycling Canada Fundo yesterday. Cycling Canada Masters race this week, or actually today. Got last. I wasn't last, and then the 3 people behind me dropped out. So I was last.
You still have recorded your name. You dual recorded.
Yeah, dual recorded, but I haven't uploaded the dual recording yet.
Neither have I, and I probably should because I got watt per kiloed. I had a good week.
Did you?
Yeah, we'll get to that.
How is that possible?
Is the settings in the back end. It's whoever. So let's just get into it. Cycling Canada, or Canada versus the world, is this sort of like pre-event for practicing for all the Canadians that are going to do the national championships in February. It's like the second week of February, right? From what I understand, I don't have confirmation, but last week we did it and people got watt per kiloed, which means you're in the B category. So we're in the B category based on that is what they ask us to sign up as, because we're a 45 to 54 or 55. I think it's 45 to 55, 10-year blocks for the Masters. So Scott Cunningham is in there with us, myself, some other people. And then the other thing is the settings in the back end need to be set up so that an A rider can ride in a B category and not get flagged. This is what happened in the Echelon race that I had. The first race, I was a B, but I actually raced hard enough to then it bumped me up, and then it watt per kilo me. But they wanted that. Echelon wanted to keep that. Canada didn't. They fixed the scores so everyone was reinstated, but they didn't set up this event. Maybe they pre-set up all the events, and this is going to happen every week, and they're going to have to reinstate all the things. But that's what happened today. Wait, what is my results? Yeah.
This was from last week. They haven't posted the new results. So this is the actual corrected results that they went into after they removed the watts per kilo for everyone. So you were 3rd in the world.
Really? But I got 6th in the race.
Yeah. So what happens is they changed the way they did the points. So it's actually the top 8 Canadians versus the top 8 the world. So as you see, like if you actually look through the final here, I'll bring up the standings. It makes more sense when you look at the standings.
Yeah. Okay.
Juniors, Masters. Oh, did I just pass it? So interesting here. Women, men.
Bilingual, everybody.
So actually, if you look at points for the first place, Canada only got 175. The world got 200. Second place, Canada got 140. The world got 155. Third, Canada got 130. So it's the top 8. So that actually makes more sense, because I shut it down last crit, the first race, because I was like, I'm 30th place. But if I was the 8th Canadian, I would still get points for the country. So this is kind of cool the way they do this. But they're going to have to go again tomorrow. I'm actually surprised because no one mentioned it on the Discord. So I would bet tomorrow morning it's going to get readjusted and he's going to fix it.
Yeah. Can you bring up Zwift Power right now?
Sure can.
So if you look at Zwift Power, this is what we're still using. As much as I don't think Zwift Power should exist anymore, it should be Zwift.com. But the thing is still being used as a scoring. Yeah. So look at the Bs. Right. I'm not in there. Scott's not in there. He won. So go to unfiltered and scroll down to B. Look at that.
Oh, look at them all.
See that? Now go scroll down to C. This is why they got their whole things messed up. Look at all the people who got watt per kilo at C. Now go look at D.
Oh my goodness.
It's the entire
category. Yeah, it's like we're supposed to be, these are age categories.
Yeah, well, it makes sense. I mean, because look at these 4.05, 3.59.
I get it. I get it that it's going to be fixed, but it's like the fixing because one setting. So like maybe this will help initiate larger promoters or race directors to be able to have a little bit more control of their Zwift event, you know?
You had the highest average power in the class.
Yeah, I know, because I'm the biggest dude. And this is the thing. This is the thing I was complaining about on my show earlier. Is like I want to go look. So what I usually look at is weight, because weight and height. I can't change my height, but can I get leaner? Can I get more efficient for the? And I knew this was a climb, right? So I don't care about it in like the crit race last week, but this is a climb. I knew I was going to be digging deep into the frustration or the suffering to get up over that hill, right? And then I want to look at weight. If you go back to filtered, so like the top 6 are out, and I was like, oh, I got dropped on the climb, blah, 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 and I can't see it yet. Now I'll have to go back and look at it, right? Yeah, results there. So if you look, height and weight are on this, but they're not in the unfiltered because it's just power, which is weird, and it'll get fixed. I get it. The other thing that I had a problem with, scroll up again. Scroll up. No. Scroll all the way up. It doesn't say leg snapper. So I didn't have the profile prepared. That's the leg snapper right there, by the way. And I was like, oh, cool. I used my power up. Now they have a KOM now, so you get a new power up. But I was like, oh, well, we're going to go back down after the climb. I was looking at this during the race, not the live portion, but just this profile. Cause you know me, I like the RGT profile. I like the Indie Velo profile on the screen. Cause I look at the profile a lot. Like I know when a climb's coming in.
It's too small on Zwift.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's because the Innsbruck KOM is too big, right?
I was here and I was dead. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm only here.
Yeah. But we were talking about this off stream, and it's like you were like, it's hard to do an FTP. It's hard to do or it's harder for you to maintain 5% power or something like that. For people, this is a tip. This is what I learned from, I think it was Fast Cat Coaching or something. It was a long time ago when I was doing FTP tests. It was like 2016 when I first started getting serious with testing and doing proper training. You should do FTP test outside on rolling terrain. So you have an ups and downs, and it's not like a consistent climb, because a consistent climb, you're going to be able to sustain power for the entire ride because you're constantly going up because of the gradient, and you're able to put power out. That's why people have sometimes higher FTPs when they're doing a climb, which is the kind of like erg. So you should, at least my opinion is, you should do it on rolling stuff. So like a Titans Grove, where you're kind of up and down, or other things. If you're going to do an inside FTP test, not a ramp test, And if you're going to do something that's outside, try to find stuff that's flatter or more neutral, and you have up and down so that it knows to allow you to kind of know you have to maintain power on a downhill, and then you can keep a little bit of power going on a little uphill or a roller. We lost Lee. He dropped off. Are we still streaming? I don't know.
The stream is still live, yeah. Oh,
there he is. He's back. He's on Wi-Fi. Wrong button. It's all right.
I was trying to like go back to the Cycling Canada results, and I hit refresh.
Right. So the race today was up the climb, and I knew going in, and I had a bad day yesterday. Like the getting dropped in the Echelon race, dude. The Echelon race was just so hard. I was like,
that was nasty.
I was like, I can't hang with these people. And so now having this mental sort of like frustration of like, I'm not doing well, I got dropped, whatever. Then I did the commentary for the race on my stream, but I thought about it today. I was like, I'm probably whatever, give up or, do the hard effort up the climb, because I knew that today's race would be able to climb. But it was nice to be racing against like at least the idea that we're kind of all the same fitness. Maybe some of us are a little bit stronger, but we're all the same age group ish. We're about 10 years. There's some people that are, a couple years younger than me. Some people a couple of years older than me. But there is something to a age category, age specific race, regardless of fitness. It's sort of like, if you are training and you're of the same age, it kind of equals out. Right? Now, some people can race down, but some of us older, like my heart doesn't go to 200 beats anymore. It just doesn't. I think I hit that 180, which I usually don't hit. And I was on this leg snapper. So I was following this guy. I got to fourth. It was fourth and fifth. It was the two of us going to the finish, and we went up leg snapper, and he had like a feather and I didn't have anything because I used it before. And I had to hold power for, I don't know how long. It felt like, 40 seconds, but it was probably like 20, 30 seconds. And I was just sitting in it, and my heart rate went so high. And I looked over and it had an 8, like 180. And I'm like, that's a lot for me. What do you guys think of more age? If the watts per kilo thing, forget that, but just having more age specific non-national championship racing should be a thing.
There is a handicap. I don't know if it's still a thing, but there was where it was age, like grouped like that. And it was kind of fun. You know what I mean? Because, you were racing against your age, and it was different. It was a kind of a different style of racing because you had no idea, you know what I mean? Like say if it was a 10-year group, me and you are in the same, category. Mm-hmm. I have no idea who you are because kind of if you race enough, you get an idea of who's who, like if, I recognize some names. So it's kind of fun being in that same bubble of age, all kind of fitness is there, it may be worse for me. It may be better for me. You know what I mean? But also on the opposite side, if I'm having to chase someone who's stronger, that's going to help me. So I think it's good overall.
Now, should it be an automatic? Because I think I did one of those races where I signed up for the wrong, because I was an A and I just joined an A and it was the 35 plus and I was racing against the other 35 plus and I should have been in the B. But now it's auto categorized based on fitness. But could you also have auto categorized based on age? It's like, hey, you whatever you sign up for the E, like, or you choose a thing and it would, maybe that's the thing is you choose a race and it auto knows your fitness and or your age. And you're like, hey, we're going to categorize you based on age and fitness or just on age. So you're racing against other 40-year-olds. Because it says veteran and it says, what is it, like whatever it is on Zwift Power.
Yeah. I don't know what those are.
I don't know what those mean. Veteran, masters.
Well, that means I'm old. That's what it means.
Yeah. I'm
kind of looking up
senior,
so like I think there's elite, senior, then veteran, and then 50 plus. So sub 50 is veteran.
Yeah, 40 to 49 is veteran. Master is 30 to 39. Senior is 23 to 29. And then I guess if you're just older, you
Junior.
don't have a category.
Oh yeah, 50 plus. I think there's 50 plus because
That must be what it is. Oh yeah, it says 50 plus.
if you look in the
it's 50
I think in the signups, at least in the signups, when I looked at the race today, there was like 250 pluses, and then everyone else was veteran. So, all right. Well, that was the Canada versus the wheel, which I kind of like now. Obviously, coming off of the Echelon Racing Leagues, kind of just
next week should
out.
be good. It will be the actual national course next Sunday. Race number 3 is on the nationals course.
Cool.
I like the format. I like age grouper. Like I was last. I don't care, but it was just fun racing against dudes my own age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I have something, you know, a goal to, you know, attain, because it's like when you race A, B, or C, if I'm racing B against like a 19-year-old guy, I'm not going to be like, well, you know, I'm going to get as fit as that 19-year-old guy is. Like I'm past that point, you know, but, you know, I see these guys where he's like, you know, 49. I'm like, well, maybe by the time I'm 49, I'll be that fast.
Big shout out to Scott Cunningham representing the Stars and Stripes kit in Zwift. I love it.
Yeah. I caught him right at the end of his stream or some point, and I was like, "Oh man, that looks sweet. That looks awesome.
It does look sweet. I wish I got it.
Because he had the matching. He had it. You know, on him and in game.
Yeah,
so that was phenomenal. That was cool.
See, it looked.
Yeah. In between my PC crashing, I did catch that, Scott. So that was pretty cool. I just couldn't chat long enough.
Scott get?
He got first. He won today.
He won.
He won.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that could push him into first overall.
I know, because I beat him. I got 6th. He got or I got 5th, and he got 6th, or whatever it was last year.
Well, you beat him last week.
Yeah, but I got 4th, and he got 1st, so he probably got more points than I did today. But he's also probably a way better climber. I had to surge a lot.
I was just gonna say, is he a better descender?
Yeah, whatever. I couldn't get more arrow. So dumb. But I caught up to a guy. I was in 6th, and I caught up a guy on the climb. So I got dropped from the group. I caught a guy on the climb, went past him, and then on the descent, I caught another guy and then beat him on the sprint. So I gained at least 2 places. I went from 6th to 4th.
I had a viewer tip while I was live streaming on the downhill. Shout out to Wow Peter for telling me to sprint every flat section on the downhill, because I hit 103 kilometers per hour and the guy ahead of me was 1 minute and 30, and by the finish line I got it down to 10 seconds.
Is that not a questionable tactic where you could be leading into the segue of the next thing, our next topic? Well, go, Brian. Don't kill my segue, but you're going to go.
I'm not. I'm just saying what he's doing is using the course. He's not.
Yeah.
He's using the reality outside. You're not sprinting.
Yeah.
When you're already doing 80 kilometers an hour.
You're taking corners and descents. And
so I completely watched the elevation, and anytime it dropped below -5, I stood up and sprinted. And it boosted me when it did go steeper. And like I say, I was hitting 103 on that downhill. I made up so much, like over a minute on the guy ahead of me.
All right.
When he told me that, I was like, no, that's not going to happen.
It's totally going to happen. I know how to do that. Go to it. Go to the screen. Cycling Canada Weekly, or whatever it's called. Canada Cycling Weekly. AI. Is AI the answer to combat motor doping? The UCI thinks it may be. There's also the other one where it's like, I think working with my whoosh. Yeah. The fight against tech. So there's also with Cycling News. Told Cycling News. Oh, we should go to the Cycling News article, because this is actually this is the first link that I grabbed, and I wanted to give a shout out to Cycling Canada Weekly. But AI is in the works, I believe, because UCI has a digital sort of team, which I think is headed by Michael Rogers, the former professional, where it's like the competitions committee for e-cycling or esports, cycling esports. I'm for this. So maybe it would have caught you, Lee, to not make up your thing because you're doing your little sprint thing. But that was an interesting article to go. Not only mechanical doping and using like, you know, IR cameras or heat cameras and stuff like that, but like this goes into my verification for the Zwift games. Okay. I was thinking while I was doing the effort, because I complained that I was Mr. You know me, Mr. Grumpy Pants. I don't like doing verifications all the time, but I know that they're necessary currently because this is what we currently have to do highly competitive stuff. And with the reason why we have to do it is because people cheat, not because it's an honor system. We're doing it because we're the ones trying to prove that we're not cheating, because cheating is the problem, that why we have to do verifications. And I'm thinking and I yelled this after my 4-minute effort or wherever it was. You have so much data from me. How in the world do you not know who I am? That's what my complaint was. And it was good to see this article say, hey, we're using AI. And that's why the Echelon sort of stuff with the do your weight video, put in this thing. If we have an issue, we'll catch you, or we'll ask you for more stuff, because that's coming from the Indie Velo guys. I like this. I like that we're not going to have to do multiple different verification, or no, that's the goal. That's my goal. My goal is I don't want to do multiple verifications for different platforms. I want to do one verification, and it's good for the season or half the season or like every quarter we have to do it. Right?
Now, you've done on several platforms for different things verification. What is the differences between my Whoosh, RGT, and with Zwift? You know, because I don't know. So it's like,
I'll tell you.
Are they the same?
No.
So so that's like what makes the difference between each
the first thing that makes a difference, they have to be done on the platform that they're requested on. So if I'm going to race on my Whoosh, I have to do it on my Whoosh.
Yeah.
Now, when I did Echelon, so now see that's for a my Whoosh, the Sunday Race Club. The Zwift games, so my Whoosh puts on the Sunday Race Club. Zwift is putting on the Zwift games. Okay, so the people that are making the game are doing the race. That's the thing. Echelon, when I did Echelon, they said they used hey, you have to do a power profile. This is whatever 2022, 2023 last year. So not the RGT Echelons. The RGT Echelon said you just need to do a power thing, and they gave us two things. One was the Zada setup, which was whatever 2 sprints, a 4-minute effort, and a 12-minute effort. I think that's what it was. And then they also had an Echelon test that you could do on RGT, and I did the RGT one where you had to record yourself, right, doing it. And I did that. It was like a 2 15-second sprints, then a 4-minute effort, or I think it was like a 3.5-minute effort or a 3-minute effort, and then like an 8-minute effort or something. It was different, but I could do it on any platform if I just did it and I recorded it. So if I want to go ahead, those are the differences. They're different tests and they're on different platforms.
Now, what is the eBio passport? Because like if
that's just the portal where you put stuff.
That's just where it went to. That wasn't like, you know, hey, we're doing this, collecting information.
It's just essentially the dossier of who you are. It's it's the foldering system, but it's a website that people can go to, and then promoters can go into the back end if you don't want to publicly show it.
Pull it out.
And grab what they need and go, okay, so now Echelon did that this year where they made you do and Casey brought this up. He's like, he doesn't like that, where you have to make your own G drive and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
Which I get. I get that, but somebody has to pay for the eBio passport website. You know, what is this sort of thing? And that's why I came up with this. We should consider, and maybe I brought this up last week or during the week, online riders union or racers union, right? And I kind of gave it a weird acronym because everyone loves acronyms. But we as riders, not the UCI, not the whoever, but it's like the CP, is it the CPPA or the CPAA or whatever? It's like cyclist, professional, something French. It's like the way they said it in French, where the riders say, hey, we want safer races. We demand having, you know, the roundabouts clearly identified and all these different things, where it's like, hey, we're going to the developers and saying, hey, we'll do the tests, but we want to do one test. We can do it on any platform, and you have to, you're okay with that, and we can race anywhere we want because we've done our one verification. Now, if you violate that or whatever, that's one thing. But like, and the idea came from like watching you and Mackie do, what was it? He did the My Whoosh one, and then he did the Power Passport, the Zwift one, to race Zwift games. And I think Alan Lowe did it and some other people, and I have to do it. Like if I want to race the Sunday Race Club, mine's expired. My Whoosh one, my Power Passport test is expired. And I have to do a new weigh-in, with
is
My
that
Whoosh.
every 3 months for My Whoosh?
Yeah, My Whoosh is every 3 months for weight and for Power Passport. And I think height might be okay, but you might have to do all three every 3 months, which is good and bad, because it's like, then you have to worry about your food. You're like, this is my weight, I'm going to race in the game. But then there's like, oh, I lost weight, I'm training more, I'm leaner, I want to change my weight. I think you might can request it and say, hey, I want to change. But when you do Zwift, it's like, you have to do their power, what is it now? Critical power test. It's no longer the Zada thing. It's the critical power test. You download it. That's what I did for the Zwift games. So I'm for a singular verification. And I know people have their own opinions, and that's perfectly fine. But this is sort of like sparking the conversation to go, hey, maybe we could come together and have a verification that we do, and then we don't have to worry about verification for a little while, and then we can mentally prepare for it. Because I have a mental hurdle that I have to do verification. I really don't like doing them because I just don't like doing it.
Yeah, that brings to the point of like what you're talking about with AI detecting cheats. And they use AI for verification. Like I pulled up your Zwift power profile. You have 439 events in Zwift.
Yeah, I mean,
how could they not have enough data on you? Like you have pages and pages. So maybe what they have is some AI that goes through your 439 races and goes, yep, he's fine. Or they go through your data and go, yeah, we need him to do a verification. Like you get a green light or you get a red light. But I mean, you have 439. That is, like say, pages and pages of 20-minute, 5-minute, 1-minute, 30-second power, all your weights, all your heights, your rankings of whether you increased. Like if you took all that data as an average, I'm sure you could find some anomalies or no anomalies and been like, dude, this guy's been totally consistent between 439 races. And I'm sure if you went through someone else's Zwift power, you might go, whoa, this guy's weight fluctuates 20 kg every like 4 months. Like what the heck is going on? Like,
go to the 8th place, the 24th stage 4 flat is fast. So I understand this is the reason. No, that's that one. Then go to unfiltered. So that can't
power, heart rate.
No, the top
ZP.
guy. Yeah. So click on that dude. This is the dude I was trying to chase off the front.
ZP.
He's done 13 races.
Oh, that's Z power.
Yeah. And this is a casual
Z power.
But this is where it's like, hey, you're like, this guy did the whole race, was in the front, created draft. People tried to run off the front from him and all these other things. It's like he's affecting the race. This is casual versus this is an unverified. This is just to show up whoever.
In reality, this guy's FTP is 265.
Yeah, whatever it is. But it's like, with even like, if you could get, let's say you don't have that much data, right? But there's people that have a lot of data. The AI thing is, I can't wait. It's like, hey, we have all this data and go, okay. Then when you have a little anomalies, you can say, hey, green light, you're good.
Well, and here's
I think that, sorry, Lee, let me just finish this thought. The thing that I think IndieVelo, the team at IndieVelo are doing, like George and Bjorn, I think they're using what La Pariante is talking about, is they can have, and Martin Carew from WTRL, when he was talking about that on the our Virtual Villa podcast, kind of what things we talked about last week, is they are building tools, or they have tools where because there's so much data, you got to be able to go, oh, okay, cool, this is a weird anomaly. What I need more. I need to understand more. And is it a weird anomaly because it's a weird pedaling style, or is it because they're not calibrated? And so the onus on us, it's a two-way street. It's not, hey, we're not wanting to do the verification and not follow up. No, we want to do that, but I don't want to do 3 different verifications to race on 3 different platforms. It would be beneficial to do a verification just to race across all platforms, because I'm just one person. I'm not, the game is treating me differently. That's my problem.
So this guy that you just showed us here is the perfect example of, I know Casey and I have had a lot of conversations on stream and private.
70 plus.
This
he's good. He's a casual dude.
We
Don't get
want
mad, Brian. Don't get mad, Brian.
out.
No, we do want him.
Yeah, I want him in a race so I could follow his draft. This is the guy.
You couldn't catch him.
No, he's 70 years old. He weighs roughly my weight, and his FTP is 450.
Yeah, but this is unreal. This is unreal. I'm just saying that,
exactly. That's what I mean. That's the biggest issue with these casual races is this affecting, and the people who willingly do it and rub it in your face.
No, okay, that's wrong. No, I don't know. I don't think this person knows. I think this person just he's like, oh, I got a good workout in, and he's like, oh, there's dads. I'm a dad. I'm inside. Oh, I'm riding in on trainers. Oh, that sounds like me. Cool, fun. The thing is, the difference between this, I'm with you, Brian. Like, we want to get these people out, but no, we also want to encourage people to enjoy online cycling, because we want people to ride around and enjoy things. And this goes to the thing we were talking about offline. Let's get into a new segue. We do want to touch on this. I want to touch on something more about this, but I want you, Brian, tell us about the racing numbers, because this is the thing. This guy's racing. This is a casual race. This is not. Yeah, this guy's not a real racer, and I'm not trying to call this dude out. I'm just saying that, like, this dude was affecting a race, and he probably doesn't even know he is. He's just cruising around on whatever he's on his wheel.
Let's just say he is 70 years old. He's like, hey, I'm gonna ride my bike. This is Zwift. Oh, okay, whatever. He probably has no idea what 450 watts means. He probably has no idea that he's, world class. Like, he arrived Tour de France. He probably has no idea. So, yeah, I'm not like saying that guy is intentionally doing it, but I just know people that are in that realm, and that's what annoys us. But back to the numbers. So I got curious, kind of, now that I've recovered and I'm kind of like, I've done some different rides and opened my eyes up to we, the racers, and we are the minority massively. So there is no public subscribers for Zwift. Eric Min told Bloomberg in last summer, I forget the month, I think it was August, but just say in the summer, he told Bloomberg, we have roughly 1 million users, active users. Maybe, I don't know. I kind of rounded down and did 750. It was reported.
Wait. Hold on a second. You rounded down from 1 million to 750. That's 250,000 people. What's the round down thing?
Well, I'm just trying to make these numbers better, but he said roughly.
No. Just take him by his word. Just go with 1 million. Okay.
All right, 1 million. Well, see, these numbers will be off a little bit. It'll even be worse.
250,000 users is a lot. You can't. I'm going to say you can't round that down.
Zwift has reported, and I forget where I found this. It was like a interview of, like covering it from 2002 or 22. It said 4 million total accounts. So let's just say we'll go with 1 million. I was trying to make it number better for us. WTRL said last ZRL season, 30,000 individual people. It was, I'll do the math real quick here, but less than 4% in the biggest organized race event was that 3% if I did it correctly in my head. Roughly, that's nothing. That's 30,000 people out of 1 million. And then the TTT, that's a big deal in our little world. Less than 0.5% of people do it.
Yeah.
And then WTRL said, they said unique users, and I don't know what that means. 60,000 people have done a WTRL event. So I'm like,
unique means that they have not, like a new person has done one.
Yeah. Like, so there's 60,000 individual people that have done
from its inception, which is 2020.
Yeah. So, I couldn't find Torvaltopia. I know it's a big deal, but I did find Zwift Insider posted the numbers for Zwift Academy. Take a guess at how many people have done it. Now, 30,000 complete ZRL individuals, and then total of 60,000.
Completed it to compete
completed Zwift Academy, the workouts, the races. Yeah, the 6-8 events, whatever it was. How many people do you think did it?
This previous.
This
100.
Yeah.
200?
108,000.
108,000.
There's 78,000 more people that did these little workouts and these races than race.
Good on
actually.
them.
That's why.
Those
insane.
workouts were hard, super hard.
It's just that's the thing. That's the difference. That's the difference between. There's three categories.
Yeah.
Or no, we talk about casual and competitive all the time, but there's people that just want to get a workout, and workouts are very popular. Yeah.
So I've done, especially when I was just starting to ride again after surgery. I'm finding like the 1.52 events. I jumped in this Jersey Unlock ride. Never heard of this group. Don't never even heard of them. And I think it was 90 minutes. I milled around at 1.5 watts per kilogram with these guys. And it was kind of challenging for me because I think it was my second or third week of riding after surgery. Mm-hmm. And there might have been 80 people in there. And it was literally like these people they've known each other their entire life, just nonstop. You think like 80HR or whatever the Aussie hump day rides are bad about chat. This took it to a whole nother level. And so there's this whole entire world that like I was like kind of blown away with. I was like, I had no idea. So then I hopped in some of these other, just kind of chill rides.
You don't do group rides very often, do you? Outside?
Well, I do, but I'm always in the front making the guys behind me cry. Come on now.
So you're the guy that's pissing everyone off. But most people,
group ride, not honestly, a race.
There's like 3 guys that I ride with when I go out and ride. Like our group ride scene, it's got.
Have you been in a 50-person group ride?
Racing, gravel races, never in a group ride.
That's not a group ride. That's a race.
The biggest group ride I ever done was, I'd say 20 people.
Look, people hate the trainer. People hate it. They hate riding inside. They hate being in their garage. They hate staring at the wall. They hate all of this stuff. And if they can talk to their friend and have this sort of show up to a social ride and just noodle around, you're just trying to get a jersey. They're just trying not to rip their hair out or scratch their head and go, why am I on the trainer inside? It's raining and I got to get something in because I like riding outside.
In my perspective, the whole reason I started Zwift is because I got sideswiped by a car, Yeah,
but there's people that don't get sideswiped by cars and that's why they still ride outside.
Yeah. Our local club, we have 5 to 10 people every Saturday morning on Discord chatting.
Yeah.
Because they like doing that. We also have a whole bunch of outdoor people. And there's like we make fun of each other. The indoors make fun of the outdoors.
Yeah. I am the guy they make fun of. And then when I get outside and they're like, Jesus, like take it easy on me. But we only have, I'm going to say at most 20 cyclists like that dress in Lycra and then go out and, try to. So my local group is not very big. Back when I first started riding, it was much larger. There was a lot more guys that rode, and now we're down to like 10 guys that are 55 and older, about 5 my age within a few years, and then like 2 young guys. And I mean, I say young, I'm talking like high school, the Nike mountain biking guys.
That's your age group, high school.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the thing is when you just broke down all those numbers of the million people, we're not going to go to 750,000 even if you want to mess your math up. I'll just round it down to 25% less. That's a big round down.
Other estimations.
Okay. All right, fine. Whatever your math is.
Which it makes sense though, the growth, because I think it was like pre-COVID, DC Rainmaker had an article where he guessed between 200 and 300,000 subscribers. Yeah. Okay. And that was probably like 4 or 5 years ago.
Well, subscribers or active users?
It was subscribers is what he said. But so a million
that
makes
is an active
sense.
user. So there's no free account. So, okay. All right. But go ahead.
Oh, no. In the numbers of Zwift users are very hard to come by. Like there was only a few different ones, and some of them were dated, and some of that I rounded down to was like the active riding
did investigative reporting, which is good.
Yeah, I tried, and it's very difficult.
But the thing that your point is, I'll wrap this up with a point here.
Yeah,
I believe is we as in the casual, even the casual racer is very small compared to the Zwift user or the online user, the whatever. And you can look at those numbers even less with IndyVelo and even with RGT. Like RGT had probably 1,000 people. Probably. That's just a rough estimate. 1,000 people, no growth. When it seemed like 1,000 before Wahoo bought it, and then they say no growth, taking the CEO saying there's like no growth. Now, when you go and you do back to the verification thing. Hey, Lee, can you bring up the do a search for Zwift Games verification, or do Zwift Games, and it goes to Zwift Insider, and then there's like the PDF, and then it has the link to do the verification. So when I did because it was due on Friday, so I did my verification on Thursday, the critical power test. Then I was like, I got to fill out this stuff and get it in. So I did it Thursday night before the Friday deadline. Yeah, that's it. It is so involved when you get into so register your interest here, right? So scroll down, don't even click that. Scroll down, keep scrolling down to like the third, fourth, maybe fifth page. Keep going down. What it is
how many qualifiers there is.
Yeah. So like this is just content for this show, because I'm not going to be anywhere near anybody's competition on this thing. But there is a community thing. So do it if you want to do community thing. The Epic Chant. No, you got to keep going down. Sorry, it's to pre-verification. They want a pre-verification. And
shouldn't they put verification first?
No, because that's not cool. It's like, hey, get excited, and then here's what you have to do.
Here.
So here, go down to
Neo2, Tax, Wahoo, Justo, ooh, poor Elite.
Yeah, so go down. This is the big thing for me. There's two things. Scroll down even more.
Must have dual.
Yeah, must have dual. There you go. You can double dip, like what's his name? Brian White. So right here, look at step 2, submit pre-verification information. So then you go, please note. So you scroll down. Hold on. No, back up. Please note, you can submit a critical power test, area 4 below, and or outdoor efforts. You don't even need to do an indoor effort. You can send an outdoor effort, right? So they're like, oh, wow, this is making it so most people can do it, right? So then you scroll down. No, back up. Sorry, back up. There's the form. Click the form link right there. Now, this is not the registration for interest. This is the actual pre-verification. So it's closed because you missed the deadline. But this is like 6 pages of, here's my unlisted YouTube link. It's kind of like my Whoosh has that, where it's like, post an unlisted YouTube link for your weight video, paste an unlisted thing for your weight video or for your height video. Here's what's your trainer, what's your serial number, what's all this stuff, all this proof. This makes it even less people. So you're going to have a fraction of the people that are racers on, cycling esports. the hoops that we have to jump through are a lot for a limited amount of stuff. Now, this is because there's money prizes, so they want to have it. You know, there's the critical power test. You can get it,
and like you need to have outside efforts as well.
Yeah, I had to go and find, and I don't really have outside efforts. And I said, hey, here's an outside effort from my TT back in September within a calendar year. And then I got first place in my district championships. And then I got third place in my road race. And I was like, this probably has a 2-minute power or 50-second power or something like that. And I just posted that. Like, I don't have a outdoor thing because I haven't ridden outdoors since like September.
Now, here's a question then. Is this like 19 pages of stuff to fill out? Is this because IndieVelo is now being the verification service and they have zero data? And they're trying to start collecting data by giving you like 17 pages of documents? Because I know for the Canadian Nationals, the IndieVelo Google form, they wanted to know like firmware, serial number, slope angle, temp compensation.
That's the same thing, man. That's the same thing.
How is the average person going to know how to? I'm like a pretty techie guy.
You do your best. You do your best.
The firmware thing, it has to be the pre-production firmware. It cannot be beta. It cannot be anything but the latest production, because that narrows down the field of potential issues. Like, say if everyone's using the latest production on the kicker and it's not a beta thing, because there's someone in the community that may have had a beta device and could not compete in a recent national championship because of that. So, and I don't want to say his name because I don't know all the magic that went in behind it, but he was not able to because of that. So, and I don't know the reason behind it, but I know that's something that, you know, Zwift, IndieVelo, whoever it is,
like a not certified trainer. And
yes, it would have qualified, but because what he was doing, he was not allowed to change the beta firmware.
Oh, he couldn't. The company wouldn't let him revert to the, you know.
So
that's a risk you take.
Yeah. So right. So that's something that, you know, because there's someone else that's in our Twitch community that probably can't do any testing because of the elite level they are because of that.
So personal story is I was a part of the beta for the kicker move, right? But I didn't race on the kicker move. I did my Wahoo or my Whoosh Power Passport test on my V5. Mm-hmm. And I had the move because I was like, this is not even allowed. This is not even doesn't exist yet. So I had to do it off stream and do everything. And I had my kick V5. If you only have one trainer and you're doing like I bring it down to like, I used to work for a radio station. I couldn't enter the contest to win the concert tickets. Yeah. I work for the radio station. I have an obligation. I'm essentially eliminated from any contest that's put on by the company I work for. If you are a Nielsen person or somebody who does like the diary for the thing, like you just sort of like, that's part of you've requested something to then be a part of something. So then you have voluntarily removed yourself from that sort of thing. So
it's beta firmware. They don't know, or the verification company cannot accurately assess whether that's an accurate trainer running beta firmware. Maybe there's some flaws in that firmware and the trainer is, you know, showing 5% too high.
Yeah. So this says on the trainer information says Wahoo kicker V5, V6, bike 1, bike 2, move, kicker, bike shift. So when I did the form, it didn't have kicker move. So they needed to update that. So I put V6 because essentially the hardware is the same V6. It's just, it moves, but it's not in the form. I did it. If they want more, that's why I said at the end, like any additional comments, I'm like, yo, if you need more information, you just available upon request. That's it. That's kind of how I roll. You know, I do the best I can.
On mine
if you're being outwardly, or if you're being, what is it, on purpose, deceptive, then yeah, whatever.
Well, I know I filled out mine for Canadian Nationals about a month ago. And in the other section I wrote, am I able to come back and edit this in a month and a half when I've lost 10 pounds? You know, like, or am I stuck with this weight that I wrote in here?
No, I think you can.
A month and a half.
I think you can weigh before. You got to ask Cycling Canada, but I believe you just do an initial weight.
Yes,
and then you can.
That's it.
Because like your height doesn't change like your weight does, and you just do like a weigh-in before. They at least have some data. So like, there's people like, let's say somebody just decided to, hey, I just got a trainer and I started riding. I didn't know anything about this. My friend told me about it. And they sign up and they don't really, and I got to rush and do 5 Zwift power races, and they don't have any sort of more data, and they're just like, oh, I got to do it. So you have some initial, you have something on the person. It's like filling out a form for like the DMV. I don't know what you guys have in Canada. You guys have the Department of Motor Vehicles or something else, whatever. Doesn't matter. You have something, and then things change. Like my weight changed when I got my new license. Well, when I go there and I tell them like, oh yeah, I lost weight and I did this and I have a lot more gray hair, so I need to take a new photo. Okay, cool. At least we have a documentation of what you were, and now this is what you are.
Yeah, they came out with the weigh-in video. So non-elites, it's 48 hours, and elites, it's 24 hours. And that is the weight that you're to use in Zwift is from your weigh-in video. So like you were right, a month and a half ago, they were just like collecting data.
Yeah. Give me a stool sample right now. And then in 2 months,
I'll give some blood.
Give me another stool sample.
So what I'm kind of curious too is about if with the Indivelo guys reviewing the data, I wonder how, because of my personal experience, the Indivelo data, whatever magic they use, is definitely keeping track of what you're doing at the time. So I'm wondering if they're going through every single one of these stinking files, breaking it down after the fact, or I shouldn't say every, like if something comes up like, hey, let's check this out. Kind of like what they did with Nationals.
Yeah, it's getting more automated.
Yeah.
I think it's getting more automated. And then if something pops up, like I bet you the video from what's her name that got questionable, and then she was doing something on the video, and then they sort of looked at the irregular, and then she was relegated, I think, or whatever. She was disciplined.
And watching that video,
is an additional thing. That's like, hey, there's a flag, and then we got to follow up. We got to do our due diligence to follow up. Because
watching that, it almost seems like that's the way. I know a small piece of that puzzle. You know what I mean? But it seems like that's just the way she wrote inside, whether it was intentional or not. But because I've read some comments from where she was commenting on, Don't Get Dropped Cycling's kind of review of it. And she was like, see, you can see that, like, you know, I'm pedaling, I take a break.
Oh, she was on she got interviewed by him?
No. She was in the comment section saying, hey, I'm glad you posted this because this shows. So it's almost like she didn't realize what was happening. So I didn't go through all the comments. I just kind of like glanced through it to kind of get the synopsis of it. And I saw where she said, hey, you know, so it's almost like she didn't realize what she was doing could create an advantage. So then that goes back to like Casey was saying last week, is saying about education. So these things don't happen.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's like your reckless speculation with your investigative reporting.
Yeah.
You're just like, I'm just going to chop off 250,000.
Yeah, they're not even real. They can't even read.
I make my own numbers. It's like, that can get us in trouble. So
breaking Discord Cycling Canada news that all the watts per kg should be fixed by noon tomorrow. Posted 20 minutes ago.
Sweet. Can you ask them live? I know they're not going to give us an answer right now. Say, why did this happen again?
I could message them, but I've been semi-controversial in the last month, so don't want to bug them anymore.
Okay. I just want to know why it happened again. I want to get some clarity on what happens to these events.
Trying to
Well-
get them to give me moderator status for their Discord because it's a little haywire sometimes.
Speaking of events, I know we have a little bit more time left. I did want to talk about the Echelon Racing League.
I want to hear about the Echelon Racing League because I didn't pay as well of attention as I should have.
It was a paid event.
Yeah.
I did the first event. I like the Echelon Racing League. I did it this is my third season doing it. And my first season was not really doing it because I didn't really know what it was. I just sort of showed up to the races on RGT. So it was 3 seasons on RGT, 2021, 2022, and 2023. And then, wait. Yeah. 2021, 2022, 2023. This is 2023. 1, 2, 3. Whatever, my math. Forget it. 2 seasons. This is the first season on Zwift that I ever did it on.
I think you did 2 RGT, 1 Zwift. I think that's what it was. I think I did 1 Zwift, went to RGT, and come back, if I remember right. I read the article somewhere, and there was something about they left Zwift.
Yeah.
And it may not have been Echelon Racing League on Zwift, and they formed it and went to RGT.
I remember doing it. Okay, yeah. I can't remember. Whatever. I've done it the last 3 seasons at least. Okay. I've always enjoyed it. They're very good. The things I didn't like about this is it being on Zwift. I didn't like that it was, not that it was on Zwift physics wise or whatever. It was more of like, it was cool that it was a magic road from like a real event. And it wasn't just like some generic, Watopia course or like the Innsbruck or the Crit City. And I like the racing, but it was kind of cool the way they treated it as if like, hey, this is the Joe Martin stage race inside. This is the Intelligentsia Cup race, which is just outside of Chicago. And they had some other ones that, Crybaby Hill and Tour of Gila, where it was like a stage race. I like that. Obviously, I'm a RGT apologist and purist. I don't think the mystique and the sort of, I think it got watered down being on Zwift. I think it's better for participation because it's on Zwift, but I don't think it helped separate it from everything else on Zwift by being on Zwift.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think Echelon had better racing series on RGT.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so that's my biggest takeaway, regardless of my performance. Like the first, because I did the B and then got whatever watt kg'd. And then I just went from, sort of competing throughout. I feel like the Bs would have been competitive for me, but I'm obviously not a B. I'm a B++ or an A-, or A-. And so that's sort of like whatever, these races are just me getting a good workout on Saturdays now because I paid for it. And it was to get the whatever verification, the qualification, not qualification, but validation for ENATs, than doing ENATs.
Well, so
You didn't actually need to do.
Say what? Yeah,
You
you did.
actually not need to. Then they come
No.
out. Well, it wasn't for,
No.
for qualifying. It was for verification purposes.
Yeah, what people thought they messaged that in the first email. It was like, oh, we shouldn't use the word qualifying. We should have used whatever verifying you as a person in Echelon stuff.
I was kind of looking there as you were talking, and maybe I didn't look enough. The entry fee, did it go to prizes for anyone, or is that just for supporting Project Echelon?
I don't know. I gave up on carrying after I was into the A category.
Yeah. I couldn't find it real quick, and I was looking for a few things.
Did you go to EchelonRacingLeague.com if it's on there?
I did. Is it okay? I just overlooked it. Then I'll look for it later, and we'll come back next week with the right answers.
I do think it faded away. Like there was less people on the last race yesterday.
Yeah. Well, my like you're saying,
there were more teams last year too.
you had a very small window to learn about it, to commit, and then get into it. So
Yeah, it wasn't promoted very.
yeah,
on other things.
within the Zwift bubble of every race is every 14, or 1,400 races a day or whatever it is. It's like, well, why would I go pay for this if I'm just racing around the same courses? So the RGT aspect of Magic Roads and hey, we're going to South Dakota, Florida, wherever in the world they came up with, that was a draw for it. You know what I mean? That made it unique. And maybe going through this year, coming into it, because RGT shut down, then boom, they had to figure something out, partner, make all the stuff to come to January. So what is it? 3 months, less than 3 months they had to, from the notification RGT shutting down.
Started in December.
Okay, well,
first it started in the first weekend of December.
Yeah, so it'd be 2 months, less than 2 months from the saying, hey, RGT is closing. Then they had to scramble to find where to do it, get USA Cycling on board to do the ENATs. So maybe with that just smashed together short window, it didn't get.
I think it'll be on Indy Velo next year if it's even going to happen. So they can create their own. They can create their own event. Can't you create your own event in Indy Velo?
Oh yeah, you can do you can create down to the details what you want. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and even you don't have to be right now. It's still free, and as a free user, you can do whatever you need. Because one day I was like, I'm going to do an 80K bot race. I made it. When did it? You know what I mean? And it's still able to do it. If any other program I think has anything like Magic Roads, I think racing like Echelon and some of these other will gravitate toward it. I know Full Gas, it has, but it's not really racing. It's just like time trials per se.
No, Full Gas, man. Come on.
No, I'm just,
I know you're thinking outside the box, but I would say Ruby more. I think the competition, if it's not going to be on Zwift next year, is my whoosh Indy Velo.
I've done a few custom events on Ruby that were actually pretty decent.
Well, yeah, see, I don't think I've done Ruby. If I did, it was several years ago when it was first. Ruby, I think when I bought my kicker, now to think about it, when I got my kicker in 2018, it came with like a free month. Like I got like 5 different free subscriptions. It came with. It was like a month.
Try them all. You buy a kicker, get them all here. Yeah, I found Ruby with their video. They did a better job at speeding up and slowing down the video, where a lot of Full Gas I found was of like participant supplied video. So you have a guy riding up the Alp, but it's too steep. So he's weaving and the video weaves and you're like, what is this? Where a lot of like the Ruby's courses were filmed on a car.
It's got a gimbal on the car.
Which I have to say though, like after seeing it's probably tough for Echelon and private companies to put on events in Zwift without full access to the back end. I don't know how much access they have, but I do appreciate every sort of Cycling Canada event I've done in the last couple of years. They've always done something interesting and it was free, and they have paid employees doing the spreadsheets. Like that's their job, is to put on from the esports budget, put on these events.
Yeah. Any questions from the audience? Is anyone even watching this show?
So many. It's like 9.
Do we have 9 people? Wow.
Like the highest viewer per follower count out there, 50%.
That's right. All right. It's an hour in. You guys got any more stuff? I mean, we can go forever, but there's a point where it's like the people driving their car, they're like, I'm at my destination.
Dude, last week with Casey on, after you left, Brian, we talked for like an hour and a half after.
I know.
Just kept on going on. And he was on an hour early. It was 4 hours of bike talk.
Yeah. We will do that eventually. It's just tougher on Sunday evenings. Sometimes you're just like...
Actually, the fast life. That's what I was thinking. When are we going to get a old CRT TV stream of old video games? We want to see Wizards and Warriors.
I was playing it. That's why I got it out. Din, 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 din. It's good. Yeah, I was cleaning up my area. I don't know. Do people want to see that? I don't know if people want to see that.
Oh, hell yeah, people do.
Oh.
Totally do.
Yeah, if you venture outside the Zwift category, there's a lot of people watching a lot of different stuff.
Yeah, maybe I would have more viewers.
Yeah.
Especially if you were near a hot tub playing Wizards and Warriors.
Well, yeah, you get in a hot tub. We'll just. I just want to say
what game do you guys want to see me play my stream? The CRT stream.
The after party cast.
So I have my Super Famicom. Where is it? Super Famicom's right there. Nintendo's over there. That's my PS4, PS3. So the thing right there, right? Hold on. Now we're losing the audience. Where is it? Back here. That right there, hanging, that little right there, that case hanging. That's my PlayStation Vita. PlayStation Vita. It only has, no, there's a bunch of games. Those are the games right there. No, there.
How does a potato play video games with no arms, Fez?
No, he's only about the level 20 kit. That's all he is. Every time I see the level 20 kit, I think it's Fez trolling me. All right. Anything else? Do we talk?
No, that's good for me.
Oh yeah, I might do a power passport. Oh yeah, we talked about that. My Whoosh. Oh, yeah. The My Whoosh. There was an update with My Whoosh, but I don't think it fixed. They're capped at 30 frames, so it wasn't like a graphical.
Is My Whoosh in the similar stage Zwift was like a year ago? Well, Zwift still does, but every time they have an update, it breaks like 5 other things. Whereas My Whoosh decent for the updates.
I did get a crash today from My Whoosh. I think it did break something.
Yeah, I've rode it 5 or 6 times. I enjoy it, but it's tough because
there's nobody there.
There's no one there, and the draft is hard to ride with. You know what I mean? It's tough.
Yeah.
That's where RGT at least had it. Yes, there wasn't a lot of people, but if you did find someone, the draft was freaking awesome.
Yeah.
I feel bad that people didn't get a chance to try it, to go, oh yeah, this is where it's at, but it doesn't look good. That's the thing with Indie Valley. I was talking with Felty, and I was kind of bringing down the mood, which I apologize again. If I'm not going to do Zwift because it's like an event or something, I'd rather go to My Whoosh just because of the visuals.
Yeah.
Versus Indie Velo, because they're both non-existent for like riders that I know that they're riders. That's one thing that's kind of frustrating, is like, I kind of know that there's nobody in My Whoosh, but like it's on purpose to say there's nobody here in Indie Velo, and we're not going to tell you that there's nobody here. You know?
Yeah.
That's kind of a pain point for me.
Fast Lights, you in Zwift, you running below 60 frames a second, because Zwift is
no, Zwift can go higher. Zwift can go higher than 60 frames. It's your monitor.
It's your, I was just going to say, I think it's your monitor, but like, even I have a 4070 Ti, and like today in one of my group rides, I was trying to see why it crashed, and I was getting 18 frames a second because there was 1,000 people in it, and Zwift can't do it. It runs off one core. Zwift runs a single core, which is a lot of the reasons why some of the issues occur, because I have 12 cores or whatever the heck I have, and it uses one. So it's
not optimized.
No, not at all.
It's not optimized. It's not optimized for PCs. It's optimized to run at probably 30 frames on Apple TV.
Yeah.
And an iPad from like 2018.
Yeah.
You know.
So Zwift is, because my system shouldn't even struggle with Zwift, and I run Fortnite at max settings at 140 frames a second or something like that, and Zwift is 14. So it's just the optimization of the platform. And My Whoosh, Brian was asking in the Discord. It's capped at 30 frames a second.
30, period.
Yeah.
It does
No
not
matter
go
what
over
you
30.
have. Yep.
So, all right. On that note, play the music.
Yep.
Good. Oh, that sounds good. We need to get beats on this.